Now, how is cortisol traditionally measured? Cortisol has been measured in clinical labs for decades. This is not a new biomarker. This is not something new. Unfortunately, when you use 40-year-old technology, you end up with 40-year-old results. So the traditional technology, and this is still being used in the vast majority of labs, and this includes LabCorp, Quest, CPL, any of your minor labs, they're typically using an immunoassay. Basically, there are two types of immunoassays. There's what's known as a competitive immunoassay and a sandwich immunoassay. Basically, that's how it goes about achieving its target. The problem is that immunoassays do not directly measure cortisol. So this is kind of confusing, but what immunoassays actually measure is an antibody's response to cortisol. And then depending on how it's conjugated, either through a competitive assay where it's competing or a sandwich assay where it is connected through a biotin streptavidin complex, either one of those are actually targeting the antibody response. So none of those are directly measuring cortisol in the body. Now, the problem with that is that when you indirectly measure something, you begin to lose specificity. That means how well you can distinguish one analyte or the chosen analyte, cortisol, from, let's say, prednisone or dexamethasone or cortisone, which is also in the body, or hydrocortisone cream. The reality is that due to the lack of specificity, the traditional immunoassay, which is run by 90% of all labs in the US, cannot distinguish between something as simple as prednisone, which you might be taking if you had an infection or you needed a corticosteroid, and the actual endogenous marker cortisol.